Just before I had my pancreas transplant, life was like living in a little glass box. There was only so much you could do, but you could feel the walls around you. Whereas today, as long as I take care of myself, that box is gone. There's a whole world out there.
Before my transplant, life to me seemed gray and dull. It was like there was a film on the entire world. Post-transplant, it is like the film came off, the sun was shining, and the world seemed different. I was given hope back.
I had diabetes for over 30 years. I was near death. I was basically close to being in a coma. My son was there all the time, always checking up on me every night. It was fairly difficult, especially for my kids, because instead of me watching out for them, they were watching out for me. And now, I'm no longer diabetic. I'm not doing my dialysis anymore. It's very nice to be away from all those things.
Diabetes is an insidious disease, and it affects all of the organ systems. Anywhere from the threat of going blind with retinopathy, kidney disease, heart disease, gastroparesis causing a problem with your digestion, neuropathy causing a problem with wound healing, and the threat of amputation is always right behind you. Simply said, there isn't a system that isn't affected by diabetes.
These complications can significantly diminish the quality of life, but can also be life-threatening on the long term.
The renal failure started when I was probably about 25. By the time I was 28, I needed to go on dialysis.
It was getting to the point where I no longer had any control over my diabetes. It was totally controlling my life.
The Toronto General Hospital is one of the leading programs in transplantation.
We have a program that has excellent results. We're doing more and more transplants every year, and we're able to give patients the best possible care to give them the best possible results after their transplant.
My experience with the program has just been absolutely excellent from the start 10 years ago to now.
Once a patient has been evaluated and has been found to be a suitable candidate, they go on a waiting list for transplantation.
I got called for my transplant a year and a half after, and I was actually on the dialysis machine having my dialysis treatment. I talked through to the Trillium Gift of Life network, and I'll never forget that in those few minutes, the whole hospital found out about it. My surgeon that had put my graft in was upstairs doing a surgery. He had heard about it. Everybody, by the time I was done, lined the hallway of the hospital and were cheering me as I went through the hallway. Sorry. And I went down to switchboard, and everybody at switchboard, the security guards, everybody was out there clapping for me and wishing me well.
Last year when I got that call, I knew it was for me. And I came straight to the hospital, and I had the transplant the next day.
One of the OR nurses, I remember I'm on the stretcher, and she looked at me and she goes, "Now Marina, we're going to do this together. So don't you worry, we're going to get this and get it done." I felt very secure, very confident that, yeah, I wanted it done. Like, let's get going here and let's start my life.
It's about a 6 hours operation if it's a combined kidney pancreas transplantation. In most cases, the hospital stay will be between 7 to 10 days. After this, the patient is discharged home, and we will see him in clinic for the follow-up investigations.
My kidney and pancreas started working immediately. I remember waking up in the hospital, and they brought me the tray, and there is a regular Sprite and a vanilla milkshake. And I remember telling my nurse, Gary, I said, "Oh, Gary, I'm sorry, but this is the wrong tray. I'm not allowed to have this." And he looked at me and he said, "What do you mean? What did you think you just had 6.5 hour surgery for? You can have your regular Sprite, you can have your milkshake."
Transplantation is a partnership. It is absolutely the best example of a partnership of care.
I have a responsibility to my patients to ensure that their organs, and their lives are healthier and their organs last a very long time. The other part of my job is that I have a responsibility to the donor family to ensure that their gift lives a very long time.
And I can't stress enough to everybody out there how important it is for people to not only sign their donor cards, but for people to talk to their families and make them aware of what their wishes are.
And anything is possible if everyone gets involved. Signing your donor card, making yourself an organ donor, telling your family so that everybody knows.
Something happened that I was never expecting. My oldest son kept asking me if he could be tested as a donor for my transplant, and I kept refusing him. Until one day he came to me and said, Dad, he said, how would you feel if it was your dad that needed a kidney? Wouldn't you want to help him? Wouldn't you want to prevent him from dying? And that's when I understood where he was coming from. We went through the testing, took about 5 months, and luckily enough, he was a match. That was in 2005. He's now a 26-year-old healthy man, and he's my hero.
You talk to people who have come to the clinic after the transplant, and they say that their lives have really been transformed by this.
There can be an incredible sense of freedom after a transplant.
To me, it's a cure for type 1 diabetes. The change in my life because of a transplant donor, it's unbelievable.
There is not a day that goes by that I don't look at the scar on my stomach where I had the surgery that I don't remember what I was given. So I look after myself to the best of my ability, and I don't take life for granted anymore.
Thank God for a transplant. I'm back to my own feet. And for the first time in my life, I'm a normal person. I never expected I'll be a normal person again.
If I had a message to other type 1 diabetics out there, it would be to at least investigate the transplant program here at Toronto General Hospital. Talk to your doctor about it. But before you do any of that, do one thing. Close your eyes. Imagine you're on a beach. You don't have any insulin with you, and most importantly, you don't have a worry in the world. That's how I feel today. That's how everybody should have the right to feel.